Yeah.
So talk
And
to us a little bit about your marketing style.
well, the two of us, this is kind of funny slash sad, but Jeff and I knew each other for probably what, a year and something when he came to me. Now, me in my evidently self-obsessed way, I thought he knew about my marketing background and how I'm known for that. In Avon, I'm known for that. And I have a car wrap with Avon on it. I have all these things, and that's what my first book was called, is Marketing Ideas for the Wild at Heart. He didn't know
I
any of
have
it.
that one.
Yeah, so I was assuming that he picked me to do this book with because he said to himself, this is me thinking this. He said to himself, I need somebody to that can do the other part of this project because he's the actual writer part. Um, and I need somebody who can carry the marketing. I'm going to go get Lisa Wilber because she knows what she's doing. That wasn't it. No, he said, I tell good stories and I'm funny. So that was, but luckily I didn't know that then. So when he was writing and he was interviewing me for hours and hours and hours and doing the writing part, I'm thinking the whole time, I'm up next. I'm on deck. I have all these plans laid out, and I hadn't done a book launch in this way before, and not to this level of pressure I felt on me because I wanted to honor his words, and I wanted to make him, um, I want to say, make him proud as an equal partner in this situation. So I was making these plans and was totally expecting to there come a point when he says, I'm ready, go for it. So I evidently had said something like that to him, and he just went along with it. It wasn't until later he told me he didn't realize I was a marketing person. So anyway, right. And I didn't approach it like, how do you do a book launch? I didn't Google how do you do a book launch. What I said to myself is, I'm going to look at this just the same as I would anything else that I sell. How can I get enough people to know what I do? And that's actually one of the rules in the book is you can be successful at anything if enough people know what you do. So from the moment of us coming together to do the book, clear through today and forward, my mission every day is to get more people to know what we did, more people to know of the book. So I went back and pulled out every one of the tricks that I've used over years, not just in selling Avon, but I've used them selling Girl Scout cookies. I've used them producing a play in my town and getting attendance. All these things I pull all the little tricks that I've used. And for the book launch, I actually every trick that I've ever used, I've pulled through to do. And that's what I want to talk about and share because I know not every one of the things that I do is going to be something that your authors are going to want to do themselves. But I think out of the buffet of things, because there's literally dozens of things, they can pull enough that they're going to get some good results from it.
I
That's
think
my
so.
hope.
And what came into my head when you were going through the list of things is talk a little bit about your political career.
Oh, and I got a lot of ideas from that. That actually, everything I've done, I've been able to pull marketing from. So, way back, I went to a booth in the New Boston Fair, and they had the little smallest political quiz, and I took it, and I was probably, I don't know, 18, 19, and I found out I happened to be libertarian. And then I thought, I feel pretty strongly about this. Um, Maybe I should run for office when they were looking for somebody to run. And this was in 2000. And I actually signed up to run in 2000. So I started learning some of the marketing things there that I later have used. And I think my big claim to fame while I ran 10 different cycles over a 20-year period, was my signs. I had cutout signs in the shape of a flag, and they were actually relatively expensive. They were like $1.79 per for the coroplast ones on a rack. But I used them almost all of those cycles. I had those signs, and it gave me a brand. So I had a brand I ran with every 2 years, and I kept building on it. And lots of times when you do something like that, you can pull the ideas that you had to use for that into what you do for selling products or book launch or whatever you're using. I think all of it relates to it. You know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
pull from all of that stuff.
Well,
So
what I was thinking about also is the number of articles. If I Google Lisa Wilber and spell it correctly, it's a B-E-R, not a B-U-R.
you're
Uh,
still getting articles about me running, right?
Still get articles about you running, but also lots of headlines about local Avon lady runs for office. So one of the things I love about the way you approach uh, s- sales, marketing, is everything you do supports everything you do,
Yeah. Yeah. And it it
instead of
it,
working
it
against
worked.
each other.
Right. And matter of fact, running for office is a tactic. That sounds horrible, but a tactic that I promoted for other representatives to use to attract business because I got to be on TV shows and have articles about me. And I don't know what it was about my story, but I shared my story a lot. And when I had an article written about me, usually they would say about someone else, they'd say, John Brown, business owner from Goffstown. And they would always say, Lisa Wilber, Avon lady from where. So I got like free publicity. And whenever I went on a show, a TV show or something, and they'd say, tell us your story, I'd start with my Avon story. I would out and out tell my Avon story on these political interview shows. And they were fine with that. It just all worked together. And I did end up getting a lot of business from that. And I think it just added to my brand as a whole. And it may not be that way if you run, and it's too um, one way or the other, I guess, but I managed not to get in the fray. You know what I
Well,
mean?
you're also in New Hampshire, and from there and running there and living
Right,
there, and New Hampshire politics is a pretty interesting thing.
right.
I I mean, I guess we could really break all the rules and talk about religion and sex too if you want, but maybe we ought to stop with politics. Hey, Lisa, why don't
Yeah.
you tell us about some of the things you've been doing for the launch of Said the Lady with the Blue Hair, which, by the way, is available on Amazon. Okay, go.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that I did is went around once we had the book title secured, which was um, Said the Lady with the Blue Hair. I made sure that I bought the URL for that and secured the Facebook group page with that name and whatever else I could get with that name in particular, like the hashtags and stuff. I thought of all that, put that down in my notebook. Then I opened the group page for Team Blue book launch, is what I called it, and started inviting 50 a day out of my thing. I started doing that way back in September. And because to me, it's always going to take a giant army of people, even if I just want to sell a few Girl Scout cookies or something like that. Because anything that you do, you're going to need a giant number of people to get a few people to do it because a lot of people are going to say they're interested, but not necessarily buy the book, for example. It's the same thing in direct sales. You hear them talk about it if you have a party plan, like Tupperware. If you have a Tupperware party, you invite 20 if you want four. You know what I
Really?
mean? Because, oh, yes, a very small percent of people show up or buy or whatever it is. So to me, I always knew we'd need a big army of people. So I was inviting. Jeff was inviting. And it was funny because luckily for me, um, Jeff just, well, in fairness, I didn't ask him, but I just started putting my plan in play because I thought when I explain what I do to people, sometimes they don't get it. So
Right.
I just won't explain it till I'm getting results, is what I thought I'd do. And luckily that worked. He didn't say anything. He just said, he didn't actually say go. I actually just went. When he said, I've got this wrapped up, I took that as a go. So
Absolutely.
I opened the group, right? And to me, some of the first things I needed to have something that I could send out to get people excited and interested in being a team member. So then we did the wristbands, which is it has the URL, said the lady with the blue hair. These can be easily sent in the mail. So I made my form letter that has thank you for being part of the team. And you can tape these two pieces of tape on the end and mail them with a regular stamp. So then a lot of the people in the group, because I've been surrounding myself with relationships where I have the people's addresses, I was able to go through the Facebook group and mail people these without them asking for it.
Right.
And I did probably, I think I'm up to about 500 right now that I've mailed out randomly. And then some people were asking for them too, like just contacts. I didn't have their addresses yet. So that was one of the first things I wanted to do. And then we were also doing the frame around your profile picture on Facebook and having everybody do that. There were a lot of people that did that. With the letter that about the wristband included a suggestion that they take a picture of themselves on social media with their wristband. And a whole bunch of people did that too. So I think it was about getting people involved with something they could do to be part of this. I want to say like a group effort of a book launch. So what I was hoping for is that when people look back on this, they don't think we helped Jeff and Lisa launch a book. I want them to think, genuinely think, remember that time we all launched that book together.
Yeah.
Remember that time we all came together and made that book a big success. So that's the perspective that I was using all along.